What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Sports with Warbs. Today, I've got a bit of a different video. Today, I have my first UFC video on the channel. There's finally a card that is worth diving into. I've got my buddy here, Christian. He has always been the guy I kind of watched MMA with the past couple of years. We've won some bets together. We've lost some bets together, but I think we're both pretty excited. He's definitely more knowledgeable than me in MMA, but for this card, we're just coming together, going to give our picks, going to give you the odds, what we think, and we'll kind of get right into it. We're going to get into this top of the card first. So the most exciting fights coming this weekend, UFC 259. But one of the fights we watched together is your boy, who's main eventing this, Israel Adesanya. He 20-0-0. He's fighting for his second title, so looking to become the fifth double champion, I believe, in UFC's history. He's fighting Jan Blachowicz, who just won his title a couple months ago, pretty recently. This is his first actual defense. Talk about a defense, going for that super fight. But we've got Izzy minus 240 and Jan plus 190. And just before you get into it, I'm going to say, Blachowicz, he was never really anything special. He kind of had a career resurgence once John Jones left the division. I think he kind of surprised some people winning that title.
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting one because the Polish power is all anyone's talking about. And yeah, like you said, he's made a huge resurgence. And I don't know, man. I don't see anyone really beating Izzy in a stand-up fight, including Jan. The only chance I think he has is just to blitz Izzy. If you look at every fight Izzy's had, pretty much everyone tries to stay on the outside and trade with him, which even Costa, I was so surprised that he tried to do that. But Kelvin Gastelum's one of the only people who actually rushed him and almost he rocked him a few times. He had a chance to beat him a couple times in that fight. And I think if there's any chance for Jan, that's it. But I don't think he's going to do it.
This is an interesting move. Like, that division's pretty thin right now. Wouldn't you kind of looking to get a couple wins there before you're like taking on this super fight? I guess that's what gets the most money. But I gotta say,
it's always about the money.
Yeah, man. I gotta say, you gotta take Izzy in this fight. I mean, he's a pretty heavy favorite. Yeah, he just has that style where he can pick you apart. He was a kickboxer. That's where his background's from. So if you really want to get that separation and try to beat him that way, good luck. I don't know. What is your prediction? Do you have any predictions for rounds here? Like, are we thinking first round? Are they gonna make it out?
I honestly, I don't know. I don't know how Jan is good. I'm really interested to see how Jan's going to take this fight. I don't know if he's going to try to kind of stay on the outside and pick his shots, which then Izzy might just win by decision, or if he's going to rush him. And if that happens, I honestly think Izzy will get the TKO with a counter or something like he did on Costa, So,
yes, sir.
I'm leaning to decision, to be honest.
Decision? Dang.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be just kind of one of those things where Izzy stays on the outside and just picks him apart. And
it's going to be Romero, Izzy, that type of stitch.
Hopefully not quite.
It was boring, I'm hyped up, boring.
It's similar, yeah.
Yeah. Moving forward for the featherweight title, we don't got to stay on this fight too long. Amanda Nunes, 24-0 versus Megan Anderson, 11-4-0. Nunes is minus 1,200 as a favorite. Anderson's plus 700. Nunes is a beast. She's the best women's fighter ever. She basically steamrolls all her opponents. They call her the Lioness. She is awesome. She's also the double champ right now. Like you said with the odds, they basically just use these when she fights. They basically just get these fighters in to feed to her. It's like a feeding station with these people. So.
Yeah, I almost feel bad for I like Megan Anderson. She's really fun to watch fight, and I almost feel bad that she gets to the title spot and she has to face Amanda Nunes.
Yeah,
I feel like everyone just wishes Amanda Nunes would retire so that they could also have a chance at the title.
I guess so, man. She's just so strong, and she really got her name with that Rousey fight when she retired Rousey, and since then she hasn't stopped pretty much.
The craziest one to me was the Cyborg knockout. I never imagined her knocking Cyborg out like that quick, and that was amazing. So yeah. And if Megan Anderson could pull off the biggest probably odds upset in UFC history, that would be pretty sweet too.
Yeah, so that's all we got to say. Moving on. This is another fight that I've actually been so excited for. I'll get into it. The bantamweight title fight. Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. This is Jan's first title defense, I believe, too. He's 15-1-0. versus Sterling, who's 19-3-0. So just to give a little bit of a background, Sterling's been around for a while. I mean, he's been there since like 2016 at least. He's working his way up. Jan has been there less long, but he really looks like he could be a powerhouse in that bantamweight division. The odds for this fight are -120 Jan, -110 Sterling. So Vegas doesn't know who's going to win this. And it's kind of hard. It's understandable why they don't know, because we haven't really seen Jan. Like, he beat Aldo for the title, and a lot of people said Sterling should have had that. And then they were supposed to fight a couple months ago when it got postponed to this card. So people are really like wondering, like, Sterling is great at wrestling. Jan is good at wrestling. They both can knock out. I mean, I'm really curious to see.
Yeah, I think Jan has the power advantage. You're right. He hasn't really fought much crazy competition if you look at his resume, but he's got so much power and he's got amazing takedown defense. I love Aljamain Sterling, but I'm really leaning towards Jan. But I really struggled with this one, man. If you ask me in an hour, I might change to Sterling. Like, I know. I went back and forth on this one a lot.
Dude, I was really confident in Jan, but then like I went back and watched some Sterling highlight tapes and like what he kind of does well, and like he's a really rounded fighter. He hasn't lost in a long time. He's on like a 6-fight win streak or something like he's
that.
The clear-cut number one contender in this division. It could really go any way. I'm going to take Jan too, because when I saw him fight the past few times, I really thought he could be like a powerhouse in the division. He looks like one of those guys who could be at the top for a long time. And even if Sterling does beat him here, I think it'll be kind of like a rematch or soon type situation.
I mean, it's a stacked division. So even if he beats Sterling, he's just got a bunch of animals waiting to get at him at that top spot. So that's a hard title to hold on to in that division.
So now we're going to get into the non-title fights. There's some actually really good fights here still. I mean, this card is just stacked. Number 14, Islam Makhachev, 18-1-0 versus number 15, Drew Dober, 23-9-0, -360 Makhachev, +270 Drew Dober. This is like AKA's baby, like the AKA training camp, Cormier and Khabib, like the two main guys from there. They're saying this guy's the next champ. Like, he can fight on that. He can knock people out. I saw a nasty knockout he had a couple of fights ago. He can wrestle, obviously. He's Dagestanian. I mean, this is like the next Khabib is what people are saying, which is obviously a big name to live up to. I think he's going to steamroll Dober. I mean, as good as he is, this kind of looks to me as like a feeder fight. Number 14 versus 15. You got to have these fights on your resume before you fight better people, unless you're Chimaev or whatever. Then you can kind of jump. But so I think this is going to be a steamroll. He just, it's that Dagestani power, man. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't remember who he fought in his last fight, but it was kind of really slow and until like the very end of it. And I mean, Dober's got power. I don't know how many of his wins have ended in knockout, but I know it's a lot of them. Like that dude he's a problem. So I mean, I would pick Makhachev, but if anyone's gonna pull off like a big upset, I think he's like a +250 or something.
Yeah,
I think Dober can do it, but I gotta pick Islam. Like you said, he's got skills. He's really talented. I think he's better on the feet. But Dober does have that kind of power where he can like pull off like a Derek Lewis type upset and just knock him out.
So yeah, I mean, look out for that fight. I mean, this is the next Khabib. We might be doing a UFC headliner on this guy in a couple of years. Who knows? So
true. Khabib said I think I saw a quote. Khabib said he'd be the champ by the end of this year. I was like, oh, let's pump the brakes a little bit. He's 15th ranked.
And apparently he's not, like, part of the reason Khabib's retiring is because he wanted to get out of this guy's way. So
really, I mean, wow.
Final fight on the main card. We got number 2, Thiago Santos, 21-8-0 versus number 4, Aleksander Rakic, 13-2-0, +130 Santos, -160 Rakic. This is actually also a close fight. This is kind of how I see this fight, is like the old grizzled vet who's fought a lot of like established guys and has been good. I mean, number 2 ranked in the division versus like the up and comer, the guy who hasn't really fought the established guys. This is his first like ginormous test by the looks of it. 13-2-0. That's a record you want to keep pretty clean there compared to 21-8. That's kind of how I see this fight. It's the classic UFC. Can you handle moving up? Are you really going to put yourself into title contention, or are you still a step below Santos?
Yeah, I mean, that's the perfect way to put it. I love Santos. I don't think he loses that contender spot. I think he's looking really good. I mean, he almost beat John Jones on one leg. John Jones
Yeah.
did say he decided to stand up with him and not take him down. So, I mean, you can take that for what it is. But, I mean, still, he stood up with John on one leg and almost beat him. I like this young kid. I don't think he's going to knock Santos off that contender spot. I think Santos is coming for that top spot.
Yeah, man. I'm just going to have to pick Santos, too. I mean, he looked good against Jones. He arguably should have won that. He beat Jan, I mean, the guy who's fighting in the main event of this card,
Yeah.
the fight before that. And then he lost to Teixeira, but he rocked him at the start, and Teixeira looked really good as well. Santos didn't exactly look bad. So, yeah, that's basically what we got. I mean, we're on the same level a lot of with these picks, which is what it is. Santos is the underdog here. That's basically what we got. I mean, one last thing I wanted to say is Dominick Cruz on the undercard plus 110 versus Casey Kenney. I mean, I never thought I'd see the day Cruz would be like a underdog, but here it is. Do you think he'll be able to bounce back and like get this W or what? Should people be taking that money?
I think it all depends if Keith Peterson's reffing.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see it, man. I love Dominick Cruz. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say when these guys get this deep in their career. You really don't know who's going to show up. You know, like Aldo came out of nowhere and all of a sudden was looking amazing after everyone thought he was washed up. So like, yeah. I honestly, I really don't know. It all depends on. I didn't think Cruz looked that great in his last fight, so I mean, I would probably pick against him for this one. But who knows? I mean, he might just have a resurgence like a lot of these guys do late in their career.
Yes, sir. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the first UFC video. We'll see how our picks do. Appreciate everyone for watching. See you later.